The slaves have all been freed. Well, at least in Missouri, according to one Union general, but reports say that that's not the most legal of moves. But something's better than nothing. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And this week, Prospector, another month is going to come to an end. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you for a quick recap.
All right, I took some notes. You let me know if I missed anything. So basically, where we are up to this point is Lincoln gets elected. South Carolina got all mad. Senators started resigning before he took office. Lincoln stands firm on slavery. He says that. Georgia raised money for an army. Why? Fort Sumter is garrisoned. Buchanan gives his State of the Union and lets everyone know that things are bad, of course. More cabinet members start resigning. Buchanan is losing control. South Carolina secedes from the Union, makes their own country. Why not? And then, all of a sudden, the South starts taking forts with pretty much no resistance. They just take them over. South Carolina fires at a merchant vessel.
Yeah, and wars. War. Yeah, nothing on that.
We just ignore it. A bunch of more secessions. The South tries to get their shit together. They have a bunch of conventions. No one can figure out what's going on there. Lincoln sneaks into Baltimore, is finally sworn in. All this stuff happened before he even became president.
Yep.
More shooting from the South. War is declared, but not really because we can't acknowledge that the Confederate is a nation.
True.
Oh, we had the Baltimore riots, where just shot a bunch of civilians and military folks. And
we did do that. Yeah, we did do that.
Had a bunch of little battles, and then Bull Run happened, and good God.
That was awful.
Shook the country, at least me.
Yeah, did not go well for the North, no.
No, that was a disaster. And then President Lincoln started declaring, hey, you got to pay an income tax now on money that you make so that we can fund this thing. And then he craps on the First Amendment and says that, we're going to go ahead and stop letting newspapers be newspapers if they support the South. Then he also martial law is declared at some point during that. And
well, the suspension of habeas corpus, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, basically. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Same thing.
And then Lincoln arrested some women.
Yes,
and the Union got a small victory last week, so things are going great.
Well, and that small victory did secure the coastline, pretty much the entire coastline of the Confederacy. So now the Anaconda Plan can fully go into effect, and we are seeing some effects of that. The South does have very limited supplies. They are running out of food. Excellent. Some of their armies that we've already come across are not all that well equipped, although they still managed to win.
Which is that's discouraging.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, I also forgot to mention that we haven't sorted our uniforms out yet. So there was a point in time where Union
we were
just
shooting
at Union because they thought they were Confederates because nobody was wearing the same. It's been a mess, guys.
It has been a mess. But this week, Johnny is going to open up on August 30th with an interesting, outside the scope of authority move by a Union general, a major.
I thought you were going to say by Abraham Lincoln again.
No, that's just expected at this point.
Okay,
no. This is a Union General Major John Charles Fremont, Major General John Charles Fremont in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. He's going to issue an Emancipation Proclamation, an order of confiscation. So this move declares martial.
Say that again. One more time.
Well, we're talking about it.
An Emancipation Proclamation
and authorizes the confiscation of all property.
Confiscation. Love it.
Yep. So this move declares martial law in Missouri and authorizes the confiscation of all property of, and I quote, those who shall take up arms against the United States.
Okay.
In addition, it says, and I quote, their slaves, if they have any, are hereby declared free men.
Oh shit!
So
war's over. Let's
he's
go.
Now freed all the slaves in Missouri.
Can we do that in just all the other states and just be done with it? That seemed pretty easy.
Seemed pretty easy.
Okay, so now by law, legally, officers. According to him, according to his plan, and he thinks.
Yes, according to the military
officers
power
can legally go and just take homes, take property, clothes, everything, slaves, free them, and
it's worse than that though, Johnny, because. Like I talked about last week about how they were talking about, I heard rumors about confiscating guns and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We did the Second Amendment. We don't like that. He further declares that any person found in Union-controlled zones in Missouri with guns in their hands, and I'm assuming by that he means like not on a holster, but like if they're
Yeah, if they're walking, marching with it, if
With
they're
it.
something like that. Okay.
They are going to be arrested and if found guilty by a military court-martial, they will be shot.
Guilty. I'm sorry. Guilty of what?
Treason?
Being a Confederate,
Confederate?
essentially, maybe.
Because see, that also has concerns. Because first off,
What if you're
yeah,
a Union supporter and walking like you want a
Right?
gun during this
Question.
time, especially in Missouri, because that place
so-
is on fire.
So several problems I have with this. First, you're arresting civilians
Yeah.
and trying them by a military court, which is
That's not how it's supposed to work
supposed
in
to
a
work.
democracy, right? That seems very what it might be in a militant dictatorship.
A little bit.
perhaps.
It is leaving open the possibility for a surrendering Confederate army to be shot.
Wait, what?
Because if they're carrying arms in a
Yeah.
Union-controlled zone, so if
They can be
Confederates were to
shot?
attack, so if a Confederate were to attack the Union in a Union-controlled zone in Missouri and lose that attack and then surrender, they
Yes.
were carrying arms, so
Now they can be
By-
tried by the military police and will be put in front of a
and could-
firing
yeah,
squad
very-
potentially.
potentially, yes. So those are my two big
Christmas. Yeah, that's
two big issues we have. Or you could just be a farmer who's out hunting and happens to be carrying a gun in a Union-controlled zone, going to get a deer for dinner, and
Yeah, or shoot the fox that's eating your chickens or some shit.
or
like
shoot the fox that's
anything.
eating
Like,
chicken,
what-
and
And
the
now
Union
you're
could go,
arrested
"Oh
and-
no, yeah.
And
yeah,
if it's
potentially.
some dude in the Union who met you before and doesn't like you, he could be like, "Oh yeah, I know this guy. He's a Southern sympathizer." And who are they going to believe?
Exactly. On August 31st, Confederate Congress is going to appoint 5 full generals in order of seniority. By most highest ranking to least ranking, they're gonna
We're
promote
doing top
general,
5 lists.
top 5 of the Confederacy. The Confederate
All
Congress
right,
has their top 5
Confederacy
list.
top 5 list. Let's go.
You've got General Samuel Cooper, General Albert Sidney Johnston, General Robert E. Lee. Remember him, that guy that was
right.
like, "Yeah, I don't want to fight for the North
Yeah.
because I don't want to have my
No,
home
no,
state."
yeah, I
I'm just
remember
gonna-
him. He's not
and
going
he
to
fights.
last long.
Yeah, he's not going to last long. General Joseph E. Johnston and General P.G.T. Beauregard. I find
Now,
it funny
wait,
that
did you go
that,
5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
5 to 1, 1 to 5. Sorry,
1
1
to
to 5.
5, okay.
Yeah. So I find it odd that like the higher ranking ones are the ones that have actually had combat experience. But hey, whatever. We're good. It doesn't matter.
Why is that odd?
Small.
Wait, shouldn't they have combat experience?
No, the ones that aren't the highest.
Oh,
ranking,
the lower
Beauregard
rank.
and yeah,
Okay.
Beauregard and Johnson are like.
They've had a lot.
Anyways,
and-
yeah,
okay.
well, yeah, they've actually had a battle under their belts at
Yeah.
least. But anyways, small note here: another skirmish between pickets and Munson's Hill in Virginia occurs. But again, just pickets shooting at each other just to make noise. No real
Okay.
casualties. Nothing really to report. I apologize if I gloss over a lot of these skirmishes because there are a ton. Like
a
basically
whole lot of
somewhere.
people just shooting something at somebody else, but not much happening.
Yeah. Every day somebody's shooting something at somebody, but if it's not an actual battle, I'm going to gloss over it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I mean that's fine. That's basically it's bored soldiers, right?
Yeah, it's bored soldiers. Yeah, bored soldiers.
You give a bunch of kids weapons and ammo and an enemy, they're gonna. I mean, at least half-heartedly shoot towards it.
By the way, Lincoln in Washington is going to hear about the whole Fremont Emancipation Proclamation. He's not too happy with it.
Oh, right,
in
because he's
Southern-
the dictator and he makes all the
yeah, wait a
decisions.
minute.
And how dare somebody else come up with an idea before he does?
And the Southern newspapers hear about this, and they're ripe with headlines like, "They're going to take our slaves!
They're taking
So,
our slaves.
We told you this was about them coming in and taking our property."
Yeah, which I get it. Like if that's because that definitely does seem like what they're doing.
Well,
Not
and
to say
that
it's
is what,
not the
but,
right
but
thing
to be
do,
fair,
but I can see
and-
why slaveholding states would be like,
and-
I don't like this.
well, and to be fair though, they seceded, and when they seceded, they said it's because they're going to take our slaves, and now we just kind of
And
proved
now
it
we
right.
kind of
though,
did.
so,
Yeah.
well, anyways, on September 1st, the month of August is going to end. September is going to begin. Daily occurrences of capturing of Confederate vessels along the coastline occurs. Daily skirmishes along Virginia and Western Virginia occur. This is just kind of a daily thing, people shooting to make noise. But we are actually
But we're
capturing
gaining
Confederate
territory
vessels.
during this. Yeah, they're retreating and we're taking over. Ish. Maybe?
Well, we're
No?
taking over Confederate vessels, so that's less supplies for them. So we're at least doing that.
So that's which they're already in shortage of. So that's fine.
Yep.
That's our whole plan, is to rid them of supplies and keep them from getting them.
And on September 1st, in order to get Missouri back under control, recently promoted Brigadier General U.S. Grant is going to take command of the southeastern Union forces in Missouri at Cape Girardeau.
Okay.
I butchered that name, I'm sure, but whatever.
Yeah.
So now we got U.S. Grant. I like the name of this guy, U.S. Grant. He's got U.S. as initials.
U.S. as the initial. He's got to be a hero.
Certainly, he's going to be a hero at some point. We'll see how that pans out for him. On September 2nd, Lincoln is going to request or inform Major General Fremont that he must modify his proclamation. Lincoln felt that the proclamation as it stands would put slave owners friendly to the North into running into the South because, now you just kind of treated them as enemies of the state.
Yeah, basically you just said, we're coming after all of it.
Yeah, so he didn't like that, and there were also several.
So he's trying to kind of turn from we don't want any more slavery expansion to we're actually getting rid of it, and that's what Lincoln is kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't want that because you've got Maryland as a pro-union state that is a slave state. You've got Delaware that's pro-union that has slaves. You've got Kentucky that's declared neutrality that has slaves, and you got Missouri that's declared neutrality and has slaves. So. Yeah. And probably don't want to make those four states mad.
Quite a bit from where all the slaves are, like the states that currently exist, which Lincoln would be like, okay, it can stay there, right? With what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, Washington D.C. is in this. Well, granted, Washington D.C. is not in any state, but it's in a slave state.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we're getting all the supplies from the South prior to this. If it would have just been Lincoln's plan. It's like, all right, slavery just doesn't extend. It would have stayed in the South, and we would have kept reaping the benefits up in the North.
Oh, yeah. All that cotton all that cheap cotton, cheap tobacco, good trade.
And so, Lincoln's mad because he's turning it into a, no, we need to get rid of slaves. They're now free. And he's not on board with that.
At least not on board with it at this point. Lincoln gives more legal authority back to the local governments in Missouri and says, slaves aren't freed. That's not a thing. You can't do that. More fighting in Western Virginia happens at Beller's Mill near Harper's Ferry, which is the arsenal that the Confederates have taken over, which we burned before they got there, but they still got some of the stuff out. But in any case, there's a little bit of skirmishing going on there. Not substantial, no substantial casualties.
And nothing changing hands or anything there.
Just shots fired. 2 days after that Emancipation Declaration by Fremont, Kentucky's Declaration of Neutrality officially means nothing, as partly Lincoln says that he's not and cannot move pro-Union troops out of Kentucky. But I got to clarify, there wasn't a Union regiment in Kentucky, like an actual officially sanctioned, like this is Union Army in Kentucky.
Okay.
There are people who are pro-Union who are taking up guns in local militias that are like,
We're ready to fight.
We're ready to fight.
But those are small local militias, not
but that's not actually
Union supplied army.
Yep. No.
They're grabbing guns off their mantle.
And Lincoln is basically telling the governor, like, I can't do anything about like your own citizens that want to support us. Like I can't.
I mean, what do you want me to do? Yeah, I'm sorry that you're all
telling them they have to
hey,
move.
The Confederates suck. Like we don't want to do that. And so now are they going to join? To get rid of neutrality? Are they going to join the Union?
No, but Confederates on the 3rd move forces under Gideon Pillow into Kentucky from Tennessee en route to Columbus with the intention of taking Columbus, Kentucky over so that they have a stronghold on the Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Confederates, therefore, are the first official military on either side to enter Kentucky, breaking the neutrality. But Pillow states...
What did Kentucky do about that?
Pillow states that they're not happy, but Pillow states that this was done to secure Columbus before the Yankees took it because he'd heard rumors that Fremont was on his way to Columbus, and to be fair, Fremont did tell Grant, "I kind of like Columbus."
Yeah, but he didn't go in first, so it sounds like the Confederates are a bunch of dirty traitors who don't care about the law or their word or anything, which
they're now
nothing but that until now.
They're invading a neutral territory.
F out of here, Confederate. Perhaps they should join the Union, and we can push them out.
Now, initially, this move was not sanctioned by the Confederate government, but traitor President Davis...
What Confederate government? Good God, it's a cluster down there.
Well, anyways, Traitor President Davis is going to sanction it and override any of his other generals that said, like, hey, Pillow, you got to kind of like come back.
No, because again,
Davis says
basically
no,
declared himself dictator of the South. Like, it is
pretty much
the United States of this democracy that we have is now basically two dictators fighting each other, trying to reclaim a democracy.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, you're not that far off, Johnny. You're not that far off.
Messed up.
This week is going to end over the 4th and 5th of September, where Lincoln is going to meet with General Scott to discuss Fremont's fate. Because he's not too happy with Fremont.
Yeah.
And he's going to discuss the plans in Missouri. Like, hey, things like we got most of Missouri taken care of, but then we did have that battle that we lost in Springfield. We didn't like that. So what are we going to do about that? How are we going to get that back under control, and how are we going to get how are we going to get Missouri back under Union control in its entirety? U.S. Grant is going to arrive in Cairo, Missouri, to set up his headquarters. But upon hearing that the Confederates have seized Columbus, Kentucky, U.S. Grant is going to recognize that we can't, we're going to have to get our own strategic point on the Missouri. Somewhere in Kentucky. So what he does is he looks at Paducah, Kentucky, which sits on the juncture of the Tennessee and Ohio River, says, all right, these are two major junctures in Ohio. I'm going to seize that city, take control of the Tennessee and Ohio, so at least the Confederates don't have, we got two of the three major rivers.
And that's supply chain
in Kentucky,
stuff, right?
So it's supply chain stuff, yeah. So on the evening of the 5th, Grant is going to send his men on an expedition to Paducah with the intention of seizing Paducah for the Union forces. So now we basically have both Confederates and Union just saying, to hell with Kentucky, you're a battleground now.
And now,
sorry about
neutrality. It's gone. You don't get neutrality.
Nope.
We are going to fight on your soil. Pick a side if you want. If not, it doesn't matter.
Or you can fight. You can try to. Yeah, you could try to fight both of us, but good luck. So we'll see how that plays out.
Natives tried that. I don't think it went well.
Yeah, it didn't work out for them. So we'll see how this plays out over the next coming weeks. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you enjoy this, check out Historic Hindsight, which is where we discuss all kinds of fun things like the war on drugs, the DARE program that you all know and love and remember with fond hearts, where there was absolutely no police officers in the DARE program that ever molested any child.